From Netflix fallout to record-breaking anime numbers, today's show is stacked. We've got new data showing how badly Henry Cavill's exit has hurt The Witcher. DC Studios is campaigning hard with the Golden Globe push for Superman, and Disney is already calling Fantastic Four First Steps a box office hit before the dust even settles. Plus, there's major industry buzz with talk of Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount merger putting theaters on red alert, and some huge comic news with Daniel Moonstar finally getting her own solo title. And over in the world of movies, Predator Badland just broke a Rotten Tomatoes record, and Demon Slayer Infinity Castle actually surpasses Avengers Endgame at the global box office. And to cap it all off, we got today's CovrPrice Daily Shakers Report, where X-Men #1 and Batman 423 and even a Scooby-Doo book are cashing in big. Welcome back to Comic Issues Daily. I'm Bryant, and I hope that all of your issues are comics. I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I've I haven't been too happy with the way I've been recording these videos. I don't think I can get the names of the authors correct, or the artists and the writers in my pronunciation. So I've decided to use the help of an assistant to come up with a presentation for the headlines, and I'm going to react to those headlines, and we're going to show those right now. So here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Please give me your feedback in the comments if this is something you would like me to continue doing, or if you want me to go back to the other way and you're just going to bear with it. Please let me know. Thank you. All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome. You know, there is a massive shuffle happening in Hollywood right now, and it really feels like everything we thought we knew is just up in the air. We're talking about everything from how movies are marketed to what's actually topping the global box office. The ground is literally shifting under everyone's feet. It is chaotic, it's fascinating, and we are going to break it all down.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Is everything we know about blockbusters just changing? Because it seems like there's this growing disconnect between the stories the big studios are selling us and what the numbers, the fans, and even the theater owners are actually seeing on the ground.
All right, let's dive into our first big idea here. The perception game that studios are playing. And wow, are they working overtime to control the narrative around their biggest films? Let's kick things off with a story I saw from Josh Wilding over at comicbookmovie.com, and it's all about DC's big new strategy for Superman.
Okay, so you gotta hear this. DC Studios has officially submitted Superman in the drama categories for the Golden Globes. According to Variety, this whole thing is about signaling James Gunn's intention to position the iconic superhero as more than just escapist entertainment. We're not just talking technical awards here. They've submitted it for Best Motion Picture, Best Actor for David Corenswet, and even Best Director and Screenplay for Gunn himself. The whole strategy is to get the awards circuit to take it seriously by framing the movie as a vehicle for weighty themes.
Now, let's hop over to the Marvel side of things, where Disney is playing a completely different kind of perception game with its new Fantastic Four movie. And for this, I'm pulling from a great piece by Daniel Klisman, also on comicbookmovie.com, who spotted some, let's say, very interesting marketing over on Disney+. So here you can see the two strategies, like right next to each other. On one side, you have DC trying to elevate Superman into this prestige drama, and on the other, Disney is slapping a box office hit label on the Fantastic Four First Steps right on its Disney Plus homepage. Now here's the thing. The film was pretty well received by critics, sure, but it only made about $521 million worldwide. With a reported $200 million production budget and a good rule of thumb as you double that for marketing, it probably didn't even break even. So why call it a hit? Well, it's all about perception, right? Make it seem like a can't-miss event to get those streaming numbers up.
And you know, this whole game of perception versus reality isn't just for Marvel and DC. We are seeing a super fascinating and maybe a little frustrating situation play out with the brand new Predator movie, Predator Badlands. It is a classic case of critics absolutely loving a film that the box office might not.
I mean, just look at these Rotten Tomatoes scores. The film is a gigantic hit with critics. Huge props to director Dan Trachtenberg, who has just been crushing it with this franchise. Badlands is sitting at a certified fresh 88%. Now, for anyone who doesn't live on that site, certified fresh basically just means a huge majority of critics gave it a thumbs up. This score makes it the best reviewed Predator movie to ever be released in theaters. It even scored higher than the 1987 original. That's amazing.
But here's where reality hits. Despite that incredible critical acclaim, the movie is tracking for a global opening of only around $65 million. And the problem? Well, as this chart shows, its production budget was reportedly $105 million, and that's before you even factor in marketing. So even with rave reviews, it could take weeks for this film to become profitable, if it ever does. It's just another huge gap between what the critics are saying and what the financial reality is.
So I gotta ask you all, what do you make of all this? Are these just smart marketing moves from studios trying to adapt to a crazy new world? Or is it all just smoke and mirrors to kind of hide disappointing results? I really want to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Okay, let's move on to the reality check. Because while studios are busy spinning their narratives, the hard data coming from streaming services tells a very, very different story. And as Netflix is finding out, sometimes that story can be pretty brutal.
So over at Netflix, there's been so much debate online about what would happen to The Witcher after Henry Cavill left. You know, fans were really divided when Liam Hemsworth was announced as the new Geralt of Rivia. Well, the new season is out, and thanks to a report from Spencer Perry at comicbook.com, we have the first official viewership data from Netflix, and wow, it is eye-opening. I mean, the numbers really do speak for themselves. In its very first week, Season 4, the first one without Cavill, pulled in 7.4 million views. Now compare that to Season 3's nearly 16 million views in its first week, or Season 2's almost 19 million. That is a drop of over 50% from the last season. The data is crystal clear. Cavill's exit had a massive, immediate impact on the show's audience. No way around it.
So if audiences are turning away from these huge established franchises like The Witcher, maybe because they're tired of the old formulas or recasting drama, where is all that attention going? Well, the answer might not be in Hollywood at all. In fact, a new global phenomenon is completely rewriting the rules of the box office. Okay, let's get into this because honestly, one of the absolute biggest stories in entertainment right now is coming out of Japan, and it is taking the entire world by storm. It's incredible. I'm talking, of course, about Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. According to a fantastic piece by Leo Reyna at CBR, this movie is on an absolutely historic box office run. And this isn't just a hit in the anime community, it's a global blockbuster that is outperforming some of Hollywood's biggest titles. Its performance in one market in particular is it's unbelievable. Just look at this number. In China, the film's pre-sales hit the equivalent of $2.8 million in just 5 hours. 5, with almost no traditional advertising. That is just a staggering level of demand. And it is such a clear sign that this movie is an absolute cultural event on a global scale. And here it is, the big one. With its current worldwide gross already over $670 million and a projected $400 million run in China alone, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle is on track to become the first anime film in history to cross the $1 billion mark. This isn't just a hit, it's a signal of a massive global shift in what audiences want to see, showing that people are hungry for fresh stories and perspectives beyond the usual American blockbusters.
So, to all the anime fans out there watching, I have to ask you, what is it about Demon Slayer that makes it such a must-see cinematic event? Let us know what makes it so special down in the comments. I would genuinely love to hear your take on it. Now, this huge global shift we're seeing, combined with some of those shaky blockbuster performances, well, it's creating a lot of anxiety in the industry. And nowhere is that fear more real than for the people who actually own the movie theaters. They are looking at the future, and they are getting very, very nervous.
Daniel Klessman over at The Wrap recently published a piece that just captures this fear perfectly. He talked with several theater executives about a potential merger between Warner Bros. Discovery and Paramount, and let me tell you, they are panicked. One independent theater owner put it so bluntly, calling it a red alert and a serious antitrust issue. And what's their biggest fear? That another massive studio merger will just lead to fewer movies being released overall. And this timeline shows you exactly why they're so worried. I mean, just look at what happened after Disney bought 20th Century Fox. In the years before the merger, Fox was putting out around 15 or 16 movies a year. By 2024, that number had plummeted to just 2. Theater owners saw this happen firsthand and are terrified that a WBD-Paramount merger would mean even fewer films for their screens, which obviously could be devastating for their business. Okay, so there is a ton of industry drama going on, from box office battles to merger anxieties. But let's end this whole thing on a piece of news that reminds us what this is all about in the first place. Great characters and great stories. And this one is especially cool if you're a longtime Marvel Comics fan.
Thanks to a fantastic scoop from Rich Johnston over at Bleeding Cool, we have learned that Danielle Danny Moonstar is finally getting her very first solo comic book series. How cool is that? For those who don't know, Danny is a founding member of the New Mutants, created way back in 1982 by the legendary Chris Claremont and Bob McLeod. She's an incredibly powerful mutant who can create psychic illusions, but she's also spent time as an Asgardian Valkyrie. She is a total fan favorite, and after more than 40 years, she's finally getting her own book in January 2026. About time.
It is just so awesome to see a legacy character like Danny Moonstar finally get the spotlight she has deserved for so long. Which brings me to my final question for you all. Which comic book character out there do you think is long overdue for their own solo series? Let me know who you'd pick in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out and talking through all this with me, and I will see you in the comments.
All right, now let's my thoughts on all those. Um, I think that Superman was a great movie. I don't know if it's going to win any Golden Globes. In that regard, maybe some of the special effects that's be interesting, but they are trying to hype it, so they need to play that hype game and have it out there to try to get some awards because it's always going to help. Also, Fantastic Four, thought it was a great movie. I think it was bogged down in the box office because it had Marvel history. Not that it needed Marvel history for the story, but it had Marvel movie history tied to it, whereas people were expecting something or expecting it not to be that great, and that's what they and it wasn't that way. So I think that kind of hurt the movie in itself. People just were scared to go see a Marvel movie in general. Um, the Demon Slayer, I don't know that movie, but it sounds cool that a animated movie is doing that well across the globe. So that should be pretty interesting. The Witcher, gotta admit, I've never seen it. Y'all can crucify me in the comments. Let me know. Should I watch it? Should I go back and watch the whole thing? Is it worth it? Let me know. But I don't know much about Witcher in general. But let me know. I'll take your word and try it out. On the merger, I mean, if it's gonna be less good movies or that are come out, it's not necessarily that good of a thing. Let's have competition. That always brings everything up. So it might be better to keep the movie companies separate. You never know. And on the Danny Moonstar solo book, sounds pretty. It could be pretty interesting. Let's see what they do. They could be trying to bring in some, granted, older characters, but not as used to bring in a new way of doing comics. So be a little bit more, not new way of doing comics, but new character, new story to the general market that doesn't see them very much. All right, that's my reaction to all of that. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like this particular type of video. If not, I'll go back to the other way of doing it. All right. But now I got the CovrPrice Daily Shakers Report for you, and the comic market is absolutely lit this week with classics and curveballs alike. And we're lighting up the cover price charts. We got some Silver Age roaring again with X-Men #1 from 1963. It pulled in $5,700 and a CGC 2.5. And then we got Invincible Returns, issue #1. And The Walking Dead #1. Both are flexing serious modern muscles, selling for $4,000 and $2,950 respectively in a 9.8 grade. And so that's pretty cool. And then we got Incredible Hulk issue #181. The first full appearance of Wolverine is never disappoints. It smashed in at $2,912 and a CGC 7.0. And then we're going to follow that up with Amazing Spider-Man issue #129, the first appearance of the Punisher and also of the Jackal, and it landed in at $2,640 in a CGC 9.2. And after that, we got some Golden Age Romance is making a comeback with True Love Pictorials, issue #11 from Matt Baker from 1954, and it charmed its way to $2,200. And then we're going to add in Batman issue number 423. The legendary art by Todd McFarlane came in at $2,124, and it's a pretty nice book right there. And then Nostalgia has stayed strong. We got Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo Mystery Comics issue number 23 fetched $1,800 in an amazing CGC 9.8, and we're gonna follow that one up with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 100. That is an awesome looking cover, celebrating the Web Slinger Centennial with $1,795 in a CGC 9.6. And to finish out our list, we got Weird Ward Tales, issue number 27, crept up at $1,750 and a CGC 9.8. So we went from superheroes to horror, and we threw in a little romance. And this lineup proves that stories, art, and history always hold value. Check your long boxes. You might be sitting on the next big shaker. You never know. And now, just want to remind everybody about our sponsor of today's episode and of this channel, Ron's Comic Closet, who has new issues, back issues, and collectibles. And if you use code I have issues at checkout, you'll get 20% off your first purchase with Ron. So go check him out. You'll have a lot of great stuff. Also want to promote my show that I have coming up every Sunday night. I have the Comic Channel Origin live stream where I interview YouTube comic content creators, and we talk to them about how they've grown their channel from 0 followers or 0 subscribers to where they are now, and how they are getting watch hours and different things like that. All the different methods that they use. In this week's episode, I'm going to be interviewing Randy from Randy from Swarm of Comics. So it should be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to talk to Randy for a while. So come check that out Sunday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bring questions. Let's have fun, and let's have a great time. All right. And that's going to wrap up today's episode of Comic Issues Daily. If you've enjoyed the breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss tomorrow's show. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope that all of your issues are comics.